I might be too hot. Let that shit simmer, boy.
Let's just start off by getting to know the artists.
My name is Dizzy. Danica Camara. Everyone in community knows me as Dizzy. Where do I start, man? Like, I am an artist, first and foremost, but I am a filmmaker and a community strategist using the worlds of storytelling to change the narrative in our city specifically. I'm wearing a Scarborough shirt because this is definitely where all the drive and inspiration comes from, specifically Malvern. And yeah, I'm a part of the community, man. I'm a founder of the grassroots organization, once grassroots organization, Friends from the Ends, which is now a production house, creative agency, and yeah, man, that's where we at right now.
Nice. Let's go back in time. Let's say about 10 years from now. Where were you at 10 years from now?
Holy, so I'm 31 now. Oh my God. 21 was the start of it all, I feel like. I was an artist when I was at 21, like a rapper. And I was doing making a lot of music at the time and trying to get on shows in Toronto. Toronto was super big on like, everyone right now is going clubbing a lot. Nightlife is like all like clubbing. But before in Toronto, I felt like the club was the show. Like every weekend you were trying to get on a bill. Like that's what I was trying to do, get my name out there. And get to perform in front of people. So when I was 21, that was what I was focused on, was building my brand in the Goonies, Indigo Goons. That's basically what it was. It's all the golden children in Scarborough and like people who were thinking, inspiration was Capital Steez that inspired the Indigo 47 movement. And I got really... when I was 21, I was really drawn to that, learning about the pro era, like the background of pro era, Capital Steez, and I felt an alignment there. Like, yes, I'm from Scarborough and all this stuff, but like what I wanted to show the world was like the golden kids of Scarborough, the kids who didn't even feel like we fit in to like what Scarborough was, being told, like how it was being represented at the time. We didn't fit into that. And there was this niche of finding other people who were like me, who were into a lot of like elevated like thinking of when it comes to like art, when it comes to the things we're talking about in our rap. Like a lot of my raps talked about the system. And like basically what I'm doing right now, like I was speaking about in my raps. So when I was 21, I was like rock star mode though, like performing everywhere and turning really political things that I felt were important to me and like things that I was going through into my music, but obviously lighting up the place. Like I loved to perform and I loved to party, and I think that was a big aesthetic of mine, was like, speaking really deep shit, but being able to turn up the crowd with that shit. Like it wasn't no conscious rap. So yeah, 21 was all about just like living, man. I was turning up. I was living crib to crib, throwing parties at cribs that I wasn't even staying at for more than a couple months at a time, getting kicked out, going to another house, and just my life felt like I just wanted a place where everyone can come to and be creative and get lit, but also like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't have somewhere safe, I feel like, in terms of, a lot of people at the time were just graduating to go to college. A lot of people didn't end up in college, and their parents and their families weren't really fond of them wanting to do art. And I feel like my place was the balance of, yeah, you're hanging out with your friends, but you're also like getting inspired and like kind of having like a education with the homies, because all we would do was like watch YouTube videos on what people were doing and like artists around the world, and like watching magazine videos and just like trying to see how we can turn our talents into something that's actually viable, So I think 21 was all about just living, man. That's exactly what I was doing. So
were you always Dizzy, or were you something else? What did you also go by?
The Punk Guru, bro. I'm joking. That was like supposed to be my EP name. But yeah, I was always Dizzy. Like after I left high school, there was no more Danica, like, you know, there was no more basketball player. I came from a very student athlete background where like everyone was used to seeing me in the gym or like seeing me play sports, like traveling to play sports. And like that life, like as very much as I saw like being a soccer player, being a basketball player, like there was something about that I knew that it wasn't going to be forever. Like I knew that we're all fighting to get a scholarship, but I think I was one of the only people on every team I was on that was like, I just want the scholarship so I can go to school for free and do some creative shit. Like I already knew I didn't want to do this shit. I knew that I just needed the bag to like go and be who I am today, you know? Like I wanted to get my scholarship and like teach like English in Japan so I can do art. Like that's how I was thinking like in high school. Like I was never thinking of like this straight edge, even though I was living a very straight edge life, like, you know, basketball every fucking day, training camps in the summertime, all this stuff. Like I knew at the end of all of this crap, I was gonna get a free education and like do what I really want to do. But that didn't happen, so I had to make it happen myself, you know, dropped out of U of T and like started living this life, bro. Started, you know, really trying to do our own shows, trying to do music videos, not knowing what things meant, like creative directors or photographers, not even really knowing what that is, but like taking the risk to actually be one of the first people like in Scarborough to just like go downtown and just like, well, from our friend groups to just go downtown and just like take the risk of like meeting a new community. At the time, I felt like Scarborough wasn't really taking to me well. Like they were really confused about the choices I was making in terms of how I look, like dyeing my hair fucking red and like all this stuff, the type of music I was making. It was really like, you know, there's like no one really appreciated that at the time or really tried to see like what I was on. I didn't really know what I was on, but I just knew that like, you know, like I need to be somewhere where I can perform and express myself without feeling like I'm being judged or without feeling like I was that different from everyone else, you know?
Yeah. So in terms of hobbies and stuff like that, you said basketball was the thing. I knew you through soccer way back in the day. What was your favorite sport or hobbies that you really were passionate about? Or was it always you had a vision with creative, like visual and audio arts?
Well, simultaneously, while I was playing soccer, and I was like not playing for fun. It was competitive, like, you know, and like you already know, and like that schedule was so crazy, like doing rep and then going into provincials and then basketball, the same thing. Like these schedules were just so crazy, and I feel like I thought at the time, like I knew when I was younger, I really wanted to play sports. But I think I already knew that I wasn't going to go to the WNBA. In soccer, I had more of a chance there, and I really loved soccer, and I was really good at it, especially in my age group. Like, I had to leave, like, your sister and everyone, because they're all older than me, and I started to really, like, shine when I went down to my own age group, because playing with the older girls was so, like, elevated play, like, you know what I'm saying? So when I got down, I was, like, a superstar. But like I loved the fact that I was good at something, so that's what made me stick to it. I love soccer because I love soccer more than basketball, but I went to play basketball because that's where all the homies were doing. Like everyone was like, yo, we gotta go to this. We're going, like our coach made us go to the same high school. We were leaving Malvern to go all the way to David Mary Thompson to build this varsity team, which we won OFSA straight years in a row. You know what I'm saying? But I always knew, like, this is not it for me. I was always that player that was not listening to the coach, that was talking back. But, like, it wasn't, like, loosely. Like, how I am today, it's never loosely. It's, like, I'm not working hard through disrespect ever in my life. And that was since I was young. Because growing up in Malvern, teachers talk to you crazy all the time. Like, they talk to you like you're an adult. You know, and hearing that type of talk coming from, like, people, like, you know, from coaches or whatever, like I guess I wasn't really a good athlete in terms of like the respect and discipline, because I'll never run a lap if you are like disrespecting me and talking crazy to me. And like when we were going to OT trips, I always made those trips fun because I made us like do shit. Like I was always the one that was like, you're really good at this sport and you're really like, but why are you, everyone's like questioning me all the time, like, why do you act like this? Or why do you have to talk back? Like, just like do your thing because you're actually really good and you can go somewhere, So for me, I always knew creative world was where I wanted to be. When I was playing soccer, I was literally doing rap at the same time, making people on my team come to my shows, like as a kid. So my mom especially, she knew like, yeah, this kid wants to do music, man. Like, I was never just an athlete. So
multi-dimensional. Mm-hmm. So now taking this into this later stage, maybe like 5 years after, when was the time you started taking directing and taking creative directing and film? Like, when did that start getting serious for you?
Like the creative direction part or the film? I mean, I guess they're the same, right?
In a sense, yeah.
Okay, ask that question again so I can frame my question.
Yeah. So when did you get serious about being labeled as a creative director working in film?
So when I got serious being creative director I didn't really know what that meant. I think it was already sprung onto me as I was doing what I was doing. So, okay, like, long story short, like, the rapping thing was great, cool, I enjoyed it, whatever. But when I started to meet other artists, bro, like, that's how you know you just have it in you to be behind the scenes sometimes. Because even as I just told you, I love performing. But when I started to meet other artists, I was so inspired to develop their sound. I was so inspired to just develop them. And I think you have the same thing in your bones where, like, you'll put something that you're working on to, like, the side if you get really inspired by someone else, and you just kind of invest in that because you're more for the art, for real. Like, it sounds so corny, but I'm probably one of those people, like, as yourself, that, like, you're really here for the art. Like, when you see it, like, you see it. So I started becoming a creative director because I was bringing people into my studio sessions, and, like, I was hearing them for the first time either sing or whatever, and I was, like, blown the fuck away. And, like, all I wanted to do was, like, make sure that their cover art looks sick, make sure they look sick when they're performing, make sure they're taking the right pictures for their socials that really bring out the aesthetic that I already see them in. Like, I just wanted to showcase them. And, like, I could never be a manager because I'm too turned up for that shit. But this creative director role, like, I didn't think of it as that. I didn't know what that was. But that's what my life was just like meeting artists, bringing them to shows, but also helping them with their vision and their looks and all this stuff, like, all in one. Like, whether I was styling them, whether I was doing their cover art, whether I was writing lyrics for them, whatever it was, I just saw these people as my creative tool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believed in them so much because I really love their music. If I love your music, it's a wrap. Like, I'm such a big music person. So if I really fuck with you, like, all I want to do is, like, help you continue this legacy because you're, like, doing something. So I took it seriously working with artists like Yazzie and artists like Milo and Latrell. And, like, I think that doing their music videos first was, like, the part where I was like, okay, like, this is what I want to do. I want to do music videos. I want to direct music videos. I want to really bring out this song because now I have this other element that's like video where it's like I get to tell my own story within their art now. And because they love it and, like, we're agreeing on things, like, that means, like, whatever they're saying in their music, they feel like it's translating to me well. So they trust me with their vision. And a lot of artists started giving me that opportunity. And I think that's when the whole creative direction thing formed. When people are telling me, yo, Diz, what should I wear to this? Yo, Diz, what do you think about this cover art? Yo, Diz, what should we do for this shoot? And it's just like, you're not really producing the actual content, but you're helping them get into their bag, like, helping them influence their individuality. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I took it seriously. And then POV Film Program is what brought me into the film industry in terms of my documentary being selected to be the one that's going to get greenlit produced. Like, that was my first opportunity, a very privileged opportunity to have an organization produce my first film. So all I had to do was be a director, and that really like inspired me, and I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I just want to keep telling stories and helping other people tell their story. Okay, yeah. So my first documentary, 2018, Worst Student Ever, that was a collaboration with Randall at J, like Rise founder, and like it was a way for me to really reflect Rise days, but also like tell a story about Scarborough, specifically Malvern, again through, you know, a community lens, through Randall's access of him really forming a community, like being able to tell my experience of what Rise did for me in my life. That was a great first film to put out there. My second film, the Community Healing Project, it was, I think all my films are like in the timeline of my life, like what I'm going through at the moment. Like Worst Student Ever, that title, I was just learning how to, like, you know, be from being a dropout, from doing really well in school and then being a dropout, to like figuring out community and life and why these impacts like helped me, like, you know, keep doing what I'm doing. And then to my second film, the Community Healing Project. At the time, after Worst Student Ever, it was really turbulent because a lot of memories started coming back about the community and the things that were lacking, and I felt like I needed to take a step back and like learn more about mental wellness. So I got into a program called the Community Healing Project, and like I ended up being able to make a film about that project and like about what it did for me and what it's doing for community. And today it's a documentary, and we show it at high schools, we show it in community, and we have a lot of parents who lost their sons to gun violence like watch this film, and the feedback is like, it's so like incredible, like in terms of, you know, like them saying that a project like this probably could have saved their son's life. And it's really hard to hear that, but I'm so happy that they felt seen in this film that I was making, because I didn't even know the impact of what this film is doing. And then Black Boy Skate 2, that was a pandemic passion project that, you know, me and the homie like wanted to do just around, it was actually a Vans campaign. Like we pitched it to Vans as a Vans campaign. No one has saw that Vans trailer, but it was actually a Vans trailer, and they gave us a bunch of shit to shoot it. And then it just didn't work out. So that when I moved to BC, I really looked at it again. During this time, there was a Regent Park Film Contest where they were looking for, it was Director Spotlight Contest that was powered by Regent Film Festival and RBC. And I decided to rephrase my idea of Black Boy Skate 2 being a campaign and turn it into a doc. So that's when I pitched that idea of Black Boy Skate 2 to CBC. And we got the film developed and under CBC. So that was also a great experience in the pandemic.
Nice. So with all of those documentaries, you also had another one I saw a post on Instagram, that the lady from prison, Orange is the New Black.
Oh yes. Acting career, dog. I forgot. Yeah, shit's so weird. So, you know, when I first got downtown, like I met someone who is in the film industry. My first interaction with the film industry was, you know, right around the times, like right before I met you. I was, I don't know if you know Percy, like he was the actor in Wednesday, the main actor in X-Men. His mom was my link to the industry because she was the stepmom of somebody that I knew. And she gave me my first film job with chaperoning her son. Like her son is a huge actor to this day. Shout out Percy. And she let me be his chaperone. So I would go on set, not even knowing what a set looks like yet. I'd be on set, friggin' like watching like this kid like do his thing on set on these big movie sets. I met like Michelle, what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez. Like I was in set like for like a month with this kid, like 12 hours a day, and just experiencing set life. through a very like privileged way again, because like I'm just chilling and chaperoning this kid, and then I'm not even realizing there's this whole other world of film, which was so interesting to me. And like being able to live with them like for a little bit, and like learning like his mom was a showrunner, and like she writes a lot of TV shows. So in the pandemic, she was writing a show called, at the time it was called Lady Dicks. And she had DM'd me on Instagram saying to me, hey, Danica, like, you know, I wrote a role in this new show that I'm doing, and it's kind of like about you, like, because the show is about, you know, in Toronto, about like the streets, but also a funny cop comedy. And she wanted to reference this character as me. So she named the character Danica, and like the way she wrote the character was very much like my attitude, because she got to really live with me and experience a lot of life stuff with me when I was living with her at the time. And she reached out to me. She said, I know you don't normally act, but would you want to audition for your role of Danica? So I was like, hell yeah, what the hell? Of course, and it's the pandemic. I ain't got shit to do. Like, I'm with it. So that's how that happened. I auditioned for my role. I got it, but not...
Imagine you didn't get it.
But I didn't really get it. I feel like they just put me in because like I'm the original Danica, because they ended up giving a lot of my lines to a different character and like just changing that character's name as something else and letting me still be Danica. But it was a great experience. I was in a lot of episodes, like, and like, just like, you know, getting my own trailer, like my first time being an actor, and like I'm getting my own trailer with my name on it, the showrunner saying hi to me, so everyone's looking at me like, who the fuck are you? How the fuck? I'm like, yo, this is family. I don't even know why I'm here right now. So you have no don't try to compete with me. There's no competition. I'm literally here just off the fly, okay? So, because everyone's like a real actor, and I was just kind of learning. But because I had to just be me, it was really easy. But I did that. I ended up getting really inspired by that experience, because like they were paying a lot of freaking money. I didn't know how much actors really got paid, and I'm not even like a main actor, and I'm getting bags for this role. I started flying out to BC a lot, and when I got to BC, I realized a lot of actors were over there. And I was so like excited about this like acting life experience, and I ended up getting an agent. Like I linked a bunch of different agents, and I had like 6 interviews because people were so interested in my look and stuff like that. And like I had all these interviews with all these agents. It was so cool to like even talk to them. Like they were telling me to take out my hair while I'm on FaceTime with them, like telling me, yo, show me your hair, like what it looks like. I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what the fuck? But it was dope. And then I ended up getting an agent, and then I booked another movie right away. So I flew back to Toronto again for this Christmas movie called Secret Santa. And I was like a ting. Like I was Rosie Gomez. I was like an activist, and like I was like a girly girl, and it was so fun to play that role. I loved it. But yeah, and I never did a movie after that. So that was like my last movie was like 2022.
Nice.
Very short actor career.
So, would you act again?
I definitely would act again. I mean, I still have an agent and a manager. I just like don't really audition a lot, and like maybe I should, maybe I need to, but it was a fun experience. But actors, like they have a really hard job, and I commend all of them, because it's not easy to like look good and like be stressed at the same time. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, nice. Shout out to all the actors though. I ain't a real actor though, so.
You're a rock star. All right. So last couple questions.
Just pull up.
Yeah, just pull up. This is super chill.
It's nothing. We're just testing shit. We're gonna use this, but it's not serious.
We're just in the cut.
We're just catching up.
Yeah, it's literally just a conversation. So, day in the life of Diz. Yeah, so what is it?
You can come. Don't worry, you can be in the frame and shit.
Yeah, you're cool.
It'll look more authentic, you know? Just walk around. Oh, that's Desiree. The light and life of my world. my forever muse and inspiration.
Okay, talk about your muse.
Desiree? Oh yeah, Desiree is a super muse. I've known Desiree since I was 7. She chopped me. She chopped me when she was 15 and I was 17. I'm like, chill. What? So yeah, she said like she was like a family relative cousin of like a best friend of mine. So we knew each other from way back when. So in the pandemic, that's when I linked back up with this Scarborough thing. And it was just butterflies after that.
Transition with this sucks.
Yo, bro, I actually started writing my first short film, like this, my first script, and I'm planning on bringing that to fruition. Into fruition meaning like by this year, my goal is to have a table read for the full script to be done, and then looking into really funding this, you know, and like with all the help I have, I think that I can like shoot the short of this, like even without the funding. But yeah, I'm planning to really, I think I said a lot in documentary, a lot, like, you know, and like I'm really interested in developing more documentary like storytellers rather than making my own docs. But in terms of like filmmaking, I need to start like putting out like my films, like writing my scripts and putting out my films, because I don't think people seen that side of me yet. Like people never really got to see me write, you know? Like people don't know that I'm a writer in terms of like, when I was in school, I was like a huge writer and I wanted to tell people a lot more about myself. And I think that I'm gonna do that through my films, because these films that I'm putting together are like experiences in my life, you know, through characters, but characters that resemble like people in my life who aren't here today, but also situations that are really funny, but like really sad at the same time. But like them actually hearing about, if someone was to do a documentary on me, then they would just have to watch this film, because this is like what has happened, like, you know. So putting a lot of childhood experiences into my films and like showing people the poetic version of me that has a lot to say.
Dope.
Wow.
All right, well that's it. The light turned off, so
That's a wrap. It's Young Diz in this bitch. Recognize, realize, Scarborough, Malvern specifically.